You grab a yogurt thinking it's a smart snack. Protein, probiotics, maybe some fruit. But what if that creamy cup actually has more added sugar than a candy bar? Today, we're breaking down 7 popular healthy yogurts that quietly drop dessert-level sugar into your daily routine, and only 2 that actually keep you safe from it. Are you eating protein or just sugar? Let's find out before your next grocery run. Number 1. The probiotic trap. You see the words probiotic and pumpkin pie and instantly think comfort food with a health kick. It sounds like dessert that somehow loves your gut back. But the label tells a very different story once you read beyond the name. These seasonal flavors play on your sense of nostalgia. The fall spices, the idea of warmth, and the health halo of probiotics. All bundled into one friendly cup. The problem is that most of what you're tasting isn't pumpkin or spice. It's syrup and added sugar made to mimic that comforting flavor. La Yogurt Probiotic Pumpkin Pie carries the label Cultured Dairy Product, which makes it seem wholesome. Yet hidden behind that are spoonfuls of sweetness that push it closer to a dessert than a balanced snack. Those natural-sounding pumpkin and cinnamon notes are often blended from sugary syrups, artificial spice flavorings, and caramel coloring, not real ingredients. You think you're feeding the good bacteria, but you're really feeding your blood sugar. The added sugar turns what could be a steady source of energy into a glucose surge. Probiotics can help your digestion, but they can't counteract the flood of sugar that tags along. And here's the kicker. Those probiotic claims aren't fully regulated. A yogurt may list live and active cultures, but that doesn't guarantee your cup holds enough to make a real difference by the time it reaches your fridge. Processing steps like heat treatment can reduce what's left alive. So even if you're chasing gut health, you may end up with questionable benefit and definite sweetness overload. Bottom line, if you want digestive support, look for flavor that comes from actual food, real fruit, unsweetened spice, or plain cultured milk. When the flavor relies on a syrup blend, you're not getting nutrition, you're getting marketing. This one leans dessert over nourishment. Now, what about the classic staple lining every grocery shelf, the low-fat yogurt that carries more risk than its name suggests? Number 2, the low-fat lie. Low-fat sounds like the safe zone, right? You see Dannon low-fat vanilla and think fewer calories, lighter on the stomach, all gain and no guilt. But cutting fat doesn't remove flavor. It actually forces manufacturers to chase it, and that's where the sugar flood begins. When the fat gets stripped out, the natural creaminess disappears, and what's left tends to taste thin and sour. The fix? Added sugar, lots of it. That sweet hit brings back the smooth taste you expect, but quietly cancels any calorie savings you thought you made. Here's the truth. Those words low fat pull you in, but they're often the door to a different problem. A single serving can hide double-digit grams of added sugar, sneaking close to what you'd find in an after-dinner treat. You may not even realize how easily it stacks up because the sweetness feels mild and natural. The label's fine print tells the story clearly, but most shoppers focus on the bold fat claim at the top. It sounds healthy, and that's the hook. Manufacturers know that low fat sells, especially to people careful about weight or heart health. But what that trade-off really delivers is quick energy spikes followed by sluggish crashes. The ratio flips. Less satiating fat, more quick-burning sugar. That's not balance, that's a blood sugar roller coaster in disguise. True balance comes from yogurt that holds protein and fat in check, giving you slow, steady energy. Compare that experience to plain Greek yogurt, dense, rich with protein, and able to fill you up without the melt of added sweetness. The flavor is natural, not engineered. The consistency comes from the milk itself, not hidden syrups. Greek and Skyer styles let you control the sweetness instead of being trapped by it. Bottom line, fat wasn't your enemy here. Hidden sugar was. You've simply been taught to fear the wrong nutrient. Next up, a yogurt that looks playful and airy, but turns out to be whipped sugar in disguise. Number 3, sweet illusion in a whip. It feels light, almost like eating a fruit cloud. But the sugar says otherwise. Yoppalayet raspberry mousse. Whips banks on that airy texture, selling you the feeling of indulgence without the guilt. The trick lies in the mousse effect created through aeration, mixing in air until the mixture expands into a fluffy, whipped form. It draws your eye because it looks delicate, almost weightless, yet that illusion comes with a trade-off. The more air you add, the less actual yogurt you get. And that means less protein, less substance, and more space to disguise sweetness. The marketing leans on texture instead of nutrition. That creamy, foamy bite convinces you it's light, but the flavor depends on added sugar more than the yogurt itself. Raspberry should bring a tart bite, but here it's softened by sweeteners that hit faster than any fruit ever could. What's missing is density, the rich protein that makes real yogurt satisfying. You end up with something that looks like a snack, but behaves like a dessert disguised as low calorie. Here's where it gets tricky. Because of the smaller serving size, you might think the sugar load can't be much. But your body doesn't judge by volume, it reacts to what's dissolved inside. When you eat something whipped full of air, that sugar rushes in quickly because there's less bulk to slow digestion. A few spoonfuls can spike your blood sugar sooner than a heavier plain cup would. The airy lightness feels kind, but leaves you hungry again not long after. So while it sells softness and flavor, the nutrition quietly evaporates. The protein you expect from yogurt gets swapped for whipped sweetness that fades fast. You pay for volume that isn't food and sugar that overpowers what little remains. Bottom line, your spoonful of fruit mousse isn't a health choice at all. It's a sweet illusion replacing yogurt's natural strength. And while we're on illusions, how about a brand that hides sugar beneath a glass jar and the word honey? Number 4. The Boutique Mirage. Glass jar, French name, a swirl of honey. It looks so refined you'd think it came straight from a farmhouse kitchen. Way Honey by Your Plate sells the fantasy of simplicity. That smooth jar and soft label whisper natural. The word French style makes you believe you're skipping the processed stuff and stepping into something old world and pure. But when you strip away the design, what's inside that jar looks a lot less romantic. Here's the truth. The packaging works on people's instincts. Heavy glass and handwritten fonts give a sense of trust. You see craftsmanship, not corporate food production. That's consumer psychology at its best. Minimalist branding used as camouflage. It signals authenticity even when the product inside is highly sweetened. The honey flavor seems wholesome, but behind that golden image lives more than a drizzle of actual honey. You get a blend where refined sugar makes up most of the flavor, while the natural sweetener plays a supporting role. And here's the kicker. That blend pushes the cup's sugar content to dessert levels. One serving can out-sweeten a portion of flan, which is meant to be a treat, not breakfast. The texture is thick, the taste feels soft, and you leave thinking you made a healthy pick. In reality, what's masquerading as gentle sweetness carries all the hallmarks of processed syrup. Fast digestion, quicker blood sugar spikes, and a short-lived sense of fullness. That isn't elegance, that's metabolic chaos in a jar. When a product hides behind glass and simplicity, it's easy to forget that the nutrition facts panel tells the real story. The label is plain, but the numbers don't lie. Sugar is sugar, no matter how it's framed. Elegant packaging can't convert that load into nourishment. Your pancreas still does the work, paying for that aesthetic in glucose swings and fatigue later. Moving on to a cult favorite from Australia that feels artisanal. But the nutrition facts tell another story. Number 5, creamy but costly. It's tangy, creamy, and indulgent. But that indulgence isn't free. Noosa lemon yogurt has built a reputation as the premium choice, the kind of yogurt that feels more like an experience than a snack. The thickness is its signature. Rich, full-bodied, satisfying in texture. You can feel that quality the moment you peel off the lid. It's positioned as an artisanal option, a reward for choosing better ingredients. But that creamy luxury hides a sharp cost. The same full-fat milk that gives Noosa its lush texture sets the stage for high sugar content designed to keep that sweetness balanced and crave-worthy. That's where the illusion begins. The lemon flavor feels refreshing, tangy, almost cleansing. You taste brightness instead of sugar, but the citrus kick actually works as a perfect mask. It sharpens your tongue just enough to distract you from how sweet it really is. These cups often carry sugar levels on par with puddings or custards. You think you're having a wholesome snack, but nutritionally it belongs on the dessert table. It's the classic case of marketing capitalizing on premium taste while sidestepping what's inside. The combination of full-fat dairy and heavy sweetening produces that luxurious mouthfeel people love. Yet behind that sensory pleasure, you're dealing with a sugar load high enough to cause a noticeable blood glucose spike. That quick surge delivers instant satisfaction, followed by the same mid-morning crash you'd expect from candy. It becomes a pattern, one that feeds craving instead of keeping hunger stable. And here's the kicker. A modest serving that feels manageable can match the sugar of a full dessert portion. You buy taste but lose balance. Once you look past the shiny label and thick spoonful, Noosa Lemon behaves less like yogurt and more like a confection dressed up with wholesome language. When you choose indulgence disguised as health, you end up paying for that premium feel with a candy-level sugar hit. But what if your mix-ins are sabotaging you just as much as the yogurt base itself? Number 6. Crushed by Crunch. Crunchy toppings, honey flavor, creamy base. It's built for pleasure, not performance. The Chobani Flip Clover honey version sells the idea of balance. You get a tidy cup divided into 2 halves. One side creamy Greek yogurt, the other a cluster of mix-ins ready to tumble in. It feels interactive, like you're building your own snack, part treat, part health food. That small motion of flipping is deceptively satisfying, but it also flips the nutritional value of the whole product. The base is fine. Greek yogurt with solid protein. But once you add the extras, everything changes. Those crunch mixtures coated with sugar or honey glaze can double the total sugar count in seconds. Each crumble and candy piece hides refined sweeteners meant to keep texture crisp and flavor intense. The cup looks playful, but the math doesn't line up with health. When combined, the overall sugar level climbs past what you'd expect in a single serving of a glazed donut. You think you're keeping your snack habits light, yet the numbers call it what it really is: a dessert in disguise. The marketing pitch is that the toppings add variety or fun protein. They do add crunch, but not balance. These mix-ins work like Trojan horses. They enter as harmless bonuses, but nutritionally, they undo the strength of the yogurt base. Instead of protein-driven satiety, you end up with rapid sugar absorption and another hunger signal not long after. The window for lasting energy closes fast, leaving only sweet residue. Visually, the Flip Cup resembles a candy bar meeting a yogurt bowl. Shiny glaze, chunks of crunch, and a thick sweet spoonful at the end. It satisfies your senses while shortchanging your body's needs. Bottom line, your snack with crunch is closer to a parfait than a protein source. The Flip doesn't just mix the flavors, it flips your diet intent completely. Finally, a brand known for purity, but even it's not immune when sweeteners sneak in under a golden label. Number 7, golden label. Hidden load. You think Greek yogurt equals clean protein until honey enters the chat. Phage built its name on purity, milk, cream, and live cultures, nothing extra. The plain version carries real richness, the thick kind that holds shape and speaks of honest fermentation. It's the yogurt that defines what authentic is supposed to mean. Simple ingredients, real texture, true tang. That reputation makes its honey counterpart feel trustworthy, almost virtuous. Honey sounds natural, and the separate compartment gives you the sense of control. You think, I'll just add a little. But what's waiting under that golden foil tells a different story. Here's the truth. The honey portion that comes with Phage honey yogurt isn't a drizzle, it's a full syrup cup. When the milk solids and cream concentrate on one side, the honey concentrate amplifies on the other. The combination turns clean dairy into a dessert-level sugar dose. The base yogurt remains high in protein and low in natural sugar. But the moment that entire compartment empties in, the balance flips. All those protein benefits get overshadowed by pure carbohydrate. The design is clever. By keeping the honey in its own chamber, the brand lets you believe you're in charge of your sweetness. But human nature leans toward convenience. Most people flip the whole thing in, stir, and eat. That just a touch becomes the full serving, and the smart portion control you imagined disappears. It's the small illusion of moderation that repeats itself across meals. Coffee with a spoon of sugar, an extra drizzle of dressing, the handful of granola. Each one feels minor until you see what it adds up to. The pattern mirrors everyday habits, not mistakes. Just small steps that snowball into daily excess. Even the most respected name in Greek yogurt isn't immune when sweetness sneaks in through a side door. Bottom line, when even the trusted brands hide sugar in plain sight, the problem runs deeper than marketing. And that brings us to the truth. 2 yogurts that keep their promises without trickery. 7 yogurts promised health but delivered sugar. Only 2 kept their word: Chobani Zero Sugar and Oikos 000. They give protein without the sabotage, showing that true nutrition hides in the numbers, not the slogans. When a label reads sweetened, assume sabotaged. That's the safest way to shop smarter. The strongest defense isn't the brand, it's your habit. Check labels, count protein first, and scan for added sugar before believing any health claim. Marketing can't protect your body, but awareness can. Read your labels, question the claims, and subscribe now for more product truths that actually protect your health.